What's going on, all you guys and girls? Here we are in Outriders, and today I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a guide, a little bit of a helping hand on what Tier 1 and Tier 2 mods can really help you to survive in Enoch and help those squishier builds out. So if you're trying to kind of make your way through the tier levels and advance all the way to endgame, especially for those squishier classes such as the Pyromancer, I'm going to show you a few of the mods for the weapons that can really help you on your way. If that sounds interesting to you, then stay tuned. Let's come up next. Welcome back, all you guys and girls. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, want to hit that subscribe and bell icon. I'll be bringing you all the latest and greatest in gaming, and of course a lot more Outriders on the way. Now I will be bringing quite a few showcases of legendary gear, legendary weapons, the universal type pieces that everyone can wear, and of course some endgame footage. However, for the moment I am still kind of making my way there, as well I'm kind of just at this. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I am not the only one that's had this, as I think they've been struggling, they've had a few server issues. Fingers crossed they will be able to fix it. It's been an absolute nightmare, and I have been kicked off at least, I'd say about 40, maybe even 50 times. I have very much struggled to get to that endgame content. I've made it through the campaign now though, so should be able to give you some really nice tips and help you on your way. Now, the first tip that I'm going to give you before we actually kind of look into the tier mods as such will be, if you are struggling, try to get your level up. If you go far too high in the world tiers and your level is really low, you will struggle most times. The only one that I've seen seems to be quite viable without this seems to be the Technomancer. They tend to have very little issues, and also the Trickster can be quite viable and doesn't seem to have as quite a tough time of things. The Devastator early game can struggle a little bit. They're not so bad. The Pyromancer is probably worst of the bunch, but anyone could struggle at any time because obviously it is quite a difficult game. So the tier mods that I'm going to chuck on will be these, and I hope they'll really help you. So the first one is this one. It's nice and easy, it's really easy to use, and it's really easy to understand why you would use it, and that's Essence Thief. Basically, whilst you're shooting at the enemies, every shot you do regenerates a portion of your health. Obviously it's not going to chunk your whole health bar up straight away, but it does kind of become very invaluable in some builds, especially if you're worried about your health regen. And also if you'll use things like this, one other thing that you could use with it, and with every mod as such would definitely go hand in hand, would be on your weapon have weapon life leech. That will just mean you're getting back a bit of health as you're going, makes your build a little bit easier to go up those tiers. Now next up, and I would say this probably helps the Pyromancer most, but it can help everyone, and that one is Hot Blood. Shots pass through enemies whose health is below 50%, ricocheting to 3 enemies within a 5 meter radius and inflicting burn. Now obviously if you're a Pyromancer you will be able to consume that burn with your overheat, and you'll be able to get a bit of health back and probably do quite a bit of damage. It can be invaluable in a Pyromancer build, and it's really easy to get hold of. Now this one right here is not quite as viable as it was in the demo. So we've got Shield Maiden, and again this is one of the best tier 1 mods in the game. So if you're speccing into that weapon damage path and you seem to be able to get a lot of crit hits off, a lot of weapon damage, Shield Maiden will really help you to get that overshield. If you're going anomaly and you're not having much weapon damage, this one is not quite as good. So you may want to chuck on something else. Now next up, and this one isn't kind of for the survivability option, but it can obviously help with your health regen if you're killing things faster, so I've put on Critical Point. This one gives you an extra 15% chance of scoring a critical hit. Now it might not sound like much, but from what I can gather, mainly you've got 5% as standard. This one will raise it to 20%, meaning you will be doing an absolute abundance more of critical shots, meaning you're going to kill things much faster, and if that's how you're getting your health back, this may be a viable option for you, and it'll mean you're getting through the things faster as well. Obviously if you can put it with some kind of a regen or some kind of way of getting your health back, that would be perfect. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the tier 2 ones at the moment because I'm going to bring another video out telling you which ones I think best for those overall, but I am going to tell you one to look out for. It's one that I had on my weapon all the way from about, I believe I was about level 9, maybe 10, all the way to endgame at level 30. It is an absolutely amazing mod. It kind of worked on everything, even the bosses, the elites, everything, and it just made my experience a lot easier. As soon as I had this on, I found that I was absolutely smashing things and not worrying quite as much because I had a bit of crowd control. And that one is none other than this one right here, Vortex Chamber. Reloading a weapon inflicts slow on enemies previously wounded by this weapon without changing it. Basically nice and easy. Like I said, this one's a bit of CC, bit of crowd control going into your build. Shoot as many of the enemies as you can that are coming towards you, and then you're just going to tap your, well, it's X on the Xbox at least, or whatever it is to reload for yourself, and it will apply that slow, meaning that you can kind of move around, get a bit of distance for yourself, get some shots on them, do some damage, and then reapply. It's really well, it worked for me in 99% of the cases, and it just made my build a lot more viable when I was really struggling with health and kind of survive as such. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck on some footage. However, it is going to be a boss battle, so it is a little bit of a spoiler. It's not the end boss obviously, but it is one of the bosses kind of later game. So if you want to see how that works with your build, then I'll chuck that on. If you don't, click off the video now. But as always, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope this helps you on your way. And for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.